Breaking news out of Pittsburgh. The Steelers have just been dealt a major blow. A key player has suffered a season-ending injury, leaving big questions about how this team will adjust moving forward. And that's not all. Defensive coordinator Teryl has spoken out about the struggles on defense, admitting the issues that have plagued this unit early in the season. But the real question remains, will words finally turn into action on the field? Before we dive into the latest Steelers updates, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and hit the bell icon so you never miss breaking Steelers news. Let's move on to the story that every fan needs to hear. What Teryl is pointing out is simple but serious. The Steelers are often losing the battle before the ball is even snapped. Wrong calls, sloppy alignments, and poor positioning are putting this defense at a disadvantage from the very start. Take one example from the Seahawks game. It's 3rd and long, a chance to get off the field. But the defense lines up in a way that makes the play far too easy. The slot corner is sitting too far outside. There's no help over the middle, and the coverage leaves a wide-open lane for a quick slant. Result? A simple first down, chains move, and the defense wastes an opportunity. These are the kinds of breakdowns that cost you games. And here's the bigger issue. This isn't an isolated mistake. Pittsburgh is blitzing at one of the highest rates in the entire NFL, nearly 40% of their snaps. Yet, instead of bringing more pressure and forcing quarterbacks into mistakes, these blitzes are backfiring. Teryl himself admitted it. The Steelers are sending heat, but opponents are still moving the ball with ease. The execution up front has been decent, he said, but coverage on the back end isn't holding up. And until the pass rush and secondary start working together, the blitz-heavy approach may continue to hurt more than it helps. Another key point from Teryl is that the Steelers must force quarterbacks to think. Right now, opponents are seeing the answer before the snap, and that makes life far too easy. Against Seattle, even when Pittsburgh dialed up a 5-man blitz, Sam Darnold knew exactly where to go with the ball and released it instantly. When that happens, no pass rush, no matter how talented, has time to get home. On a brighter note, help may be coming at linebacker. Cole Holcomb looked stronger last week when he rotated in, bringing a physical edge against the run. Austin praised his performance, saying Holcomb is trending in the right direction and will likely see more snaps moving forward. That shift could stabilize a unit that has struggled with consistency in the middle of the field. At the same time, newcomer Jelani Bentley? Actually, you gave me Jawan Bentley, is still getting up to speed. The linebacker role in Pittsburgh's defense is heavy on communication and responsibility, so it may take him a little more time before he makes a real impact. In the secondary, however, there's encouraging news. Jabrill has been progressing quickly and is expected to have a bigger role this week. His toughness, tackling, and ability to defend the run could give the Steelers' defense the boost it needs, especially after shaky play from Chuck Clark last game. Finally, Austin addressed one of the defense's biggest frustrations, giving up touchdowns on double-crosser routes, something that has burned this unit more than once already this season. Fixing those coverage lapses will be critical if the Steelers want to stop opponents from exploiting the same weakness week after week. One issue that has exploded across Steelers social media is the repeated breakdowns against crossing routes. 2 weeks in a row, the defense has been burned for touchdowns on nearly identical plays, first by Garrett Wilson in Week 1, then again by Torrey Horton in Week 2. Teryl admitted this is especially frustrating because it's not a scheme problem, it's a breakdown in execution. He explained that the staff identified the issue, corrected it in practice, but the mistakes still showed up on Sunday. That's what has the coaches angry. If opponents see a weakness, they will keep attacking it until the Steelers prove they can stop it. The concept itself is simple. In a cover 1 look, when corners are shaded outside, the offense runs deep crossing routes. That forces the safety into an impossible choice. He can only help on one crosser, leaving the other wide open. Against the Jets, the safety shaded one way, leaving Wilson free across the middle for the score. Against Seattle, it looked almost identical, with Pittsburgh again caught out of position. Austin was clear. This wasn't a failure of preparation. It was a blown coverage by a veteran defender. And that makes it even more urgent. The Steelers have the personnel to handle these assignments. But until they eliminate these mistakes, teams will keep dialing up the same plays to exploit them. When fans saw the latest touchdown given up on crossing routes, the reaction was immediate. The Steelers never adjust. But according to both the coaching staff and players, this wasn't a failure in scheme. It was a breakdown in execution. The assignment was clear. In that defensive call, The free safety is supposed to cut off the shallow crosser, while the corner peels off and takes the deeper route. On film, you can even see the safety signaling before the snap, confirming the plan. But when the play unfolded, the corner never made the switch, leaving the receiver wide open for an easy score. This is exactly why the frustration inside the building is so high. The Steelers had a plan. They drilled it all week. The call was made. Yet on Sunday, the coverage still broke down. And in the NFL, when opponents see a weakness, they will attack it again and again until you prove you can stop it. Teryl Austin deserves credit for addressing the mistakes head-on, but at this point, words won't be enough. Pittsburgh's defense has the talent. The structure is there. Now it comes down to execution, because until this unit starts cleaning up blown coverages and finishing plays, the same problems will keep haunting them. One of the biggest questions heading into this week surrounds Caleb Johnson and his role on game day. Mike Tomlin confirmed in his press conference that Johnson has lost his kick return duties after last week's costly mistake, a botched play that directly handed Seattle 7 points. Now the debate becomes whether Johnson even deserves a helmet this week. If he's not contributing on special teams, can the Steelers afford to use a roster spot for just a handful of carries? To this point, his workload has been minimal, just a couple of touches here and there, and that raises real doubts about his game day value. With Kenneth Gainwell struggling to find consistency in the run game, Johnson could still carve out a role as a runner. But without the kick return responsibilities, his path to the field is far less certain. This week may go a long way in determining if the Steelers see him as part of the rotation or simply a depth piece on the sideline. The Steelers have a real decision to make at running back depth this week. Caleb Johnson's special team struggles open the door, and Trey Sermon could be the one to walk through it. Sermon has proven he can contribute not just in the backfield, but also on special teams, something the Steelers desperately value when filling out the game day roster. Giving Sermon the helmet doesn't mean giving up on Johnson. Instead, it's a wake-up call, a chance for the young back to reset, sharpen his focus, and prove he belongs long-term in Pittsburgh. But beyond the roster shuffle, there's a golden opportunity the Steelers must attack against New England. The Patriots linebackers have been a liability, leading the league in missed tackles. That's the perfect setup for Jaylen Warren, who thrives in open space. His quick cuts, balance through contact, and relentless drive make him a nightmare in one-on-one situations. Last week, Warren piled up 134 yards on 18 touches, over half of the Steelers' total offensive production. He didn't find the end zone, but his impact was undeniable. Against New England's shaky second-level defenders, Warren has a chance not just to repeat that performance, but to exceed it. If Arthur Smith schemes it right, getting Warren isolated against linebackers in coverage or on outside runs, this could be the week he truly explodes. For Pittsburgh, this matchup feels like a get-right moment. The Patriots' defense looks lost, and if the Steelers want to make a statement, leaning on Jaylen Warren to exploit those mismatches could be the spark they need.